So this video is less about the visual aspect of character design, the artwork, and it's more about the storytelling. What's going on in the head of these characters, and how can we make them more accessible, more intriguing to an audience? Now, I'm not the biggest Transformers fan, and I'm not knowledgeable across all Transformers canon, and even if you don't like Transformers, I feel like this is still going to be interesting to you. Now, I always love cheesy 80s Saturday morning cartoon dialogue. It's always so ridiculous, and there's something about it that's hilarious to me. The worse it is, the better. I've also always loved it when a video game, or something like this with a large ensemble of characters, can tell you as much about a character as it can in tiny bits of dialogue, or just using the tiniest amount to tell you the most. Now, I'm going to argue that in all of Transformers, there is a single character that stands out as an individual with intriguing motivations that we can really actually care about. A lot of Transformers characters are completely shallow. It's either this is the cool one or this is the funny one. You get into the Michael Bay movies, my goodness, you get even worse and more shallow. It's this is the black one, this is the Italian one. No, Michael, no, don't do that. You get into the qualities of the main characters, if you can call them that. You look at Megatron. Yes, what he wants is destruction and conquest. And even Optimus Prime, he's got all of these qualities, like he's altruistic and he wants freedom and he stands up for people, and they're great qualities to have in a role model, but as a character, they aren't necessarily always that dynamic or intriguing to us. Going back to a video that I made called What Makes a Character Likeable, it's flaws, it's imperfections that actually draw us to a character. It makes them more believable, more like us. This one character that stands out to me in Transformers is Starscream. And I don't know if the writers necessarily were doing it on purpose. They might have just been trying to make a funny character. I mean, the writers, you know, it's robots fighting each other on Saturday morning to sell toys. They could be reading the phone book and kids would still watch it. Starscream, in 2 words, is a sniveling usurper. So he's the right-hand man of Megatron, and he's constantly doing everything that he asks. He's the willing servant. Yes, master, whatever you need. But the second that Megatron walks away, Starscream is conniving and scheming to overthrow him. He wants to be the leader of the Decepticons. In a particularly funny scene, Megatron briefly has his voice damaged, like he can't talk anymore, and Starscream immediately steps in and says that Megatron's an unfit ruler and that he's the new leader of the Decepticons.
It's the Arrow! The Arrow! Too bad! He's blown his vocal components. I guess that makes me the new leader!
What makes for such a great character that stands out from the rest is this sense of dissatisfaction. You have the altruism, you have the conquest, but here's the guy who feels trampled on, who just wants to get out from under his leader. He's extremely flawed, he never wins, he has a really shrill voice, but we're always kind of rooting for him. Other stories will have Starscream joining the Autobots. In the Tom Kenny voiced Transformers Animated, he completely splits off from the dichotomy and starts his own thing. Ultimately, Starscream is constantly unfulfilled. When you're making characters and crafting stories, you have to remember this human element. Think about the fact that this is the only character amongst dozens that's standing out as having any real relatable qualities.